everyone, welcome back to Katarina's Garage. My name is Katarina Lloyd, and, well, I made an oopsie. Not gonna lie. Luckily, didn't do any damage when I did it, though. So, this is my 1986 Ford Mustang that has a 5-liter swap in it. It was originally a 3.8, seized the motor, you know, all that jazz. Was actually a pretty crappy motor at the time. But anyways, you know, it lasts a few road trips and stuff like that, but I think I put like 5,000 kilometers on it and it just grenaded. But anyways, so the new motor's in it, right? Honestly, I think it's still a healthy motor, but something I did, and a couple of people reached out and mentioned it. A friend of mine, like I was going off of a friend of mine who actually knows these engines just put inside out, but he didn't consider he has a rare intake where you can actually put coolant in, or like easy way to bleed the system, because you can actually you can put coolant actually in the intake itself via the coolant runners inside the intake. This intake doesn't have that, and I put it directly into the intake runner. So with that in mind, that's why the motor was hydro-locked, because I put so much coolant in there. So luckily, didn't do any damage. The car still runs. It's totally fine. But don't do that. Just don't do that. But anyways, I want to show you guys actually now. So because of that, and with other realizations today of doing stuff, I think the head gaskets are actually fine in this car. I still have the head gaskets though, and I'll just keep them around because just in case I might want to actually swap out that these heads in the future. Maybe, we'll see. But also there's something that I found with the heads that makes me potentially want to swap these heads earlier than later. So first, let me open the hood and show you guys what's going on. So if we take a look here under the hood, we'll see, obviously, this awesome 302. It is, from what I was told, it's an 86 motor, roller cam, stuff like that. You know, got the serpentine belt on it. Really cool. There's a few things that are screwed up on this, though. Like, for one, something that, after doing research, I realized, never ever put an electronic distributor in your car when you have a carburetor, because they don't talk to each other, and this can actually cause some major issues with timing and also overheating issues, because it just doesn't have the proper equipment to do it. Now, if you had the proper computers and stuff like that, you'd be fine with like an injection system or getting some better stuff like that in the future. So, you know, there is that. But as well, right now, what I'm dealing with actually, because you can actually see it down there, that lower rad hose has blown off again. So, I have a theory on this now. So, the thing is, when I ran this car, I realized top rad hose wasn't getting hot, right? The hoses going to the heater core weren't getting hot. And also with that hose blowing off twice now, I figured something out with this. So, and sorry, there's coolant everywhere. It's just how it went with getting all the coolant out of the cylinders. But anyways, so what's going on here? So it's the rad. It has to be the rad at this point, because here's the thing: if the top rad hose is not getting hot, none of the other hoses are hot, and the car is overheating and blowing out the bottom rad hose, it's usually down to your either rad or water pump. Now, water pump is fine. Like, and the thing is, actually, even though the water pump was screwy, this top rad hose should still be getting hot, but it's not. So, what I'm thinking, there's a blockage in the rad somewhere that is causing this thing to not have sufficient flow through the rad, which is causing this not to warm up as much as it should, which is causing a lot of air to go through. So, that's the reason why the thermostat isn't opening. And that's the reason why it keeps blowing out lower rad hoses, right? So this should be a fairly simple fix of just replacing the rad, which I'm looking into an aluminum replacement, because it's just so much better. You know, running aluminum instead of copper is just way better on your cooling system. It really is. But as well, something that I spotted today and not happy about it. So if we take a look here, let's just move this wiring out of the way and zoom in there. Well, I can't really zoom in, but you can see right here, right? That is a chunk of the head missing right in behind the power steering pump. So that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking about replacing the heads sooner rather than later. And you know, because actually a friend of mine does have some GT40 heads lying around. He's got a couple of sets that are still on vehicles, but you know, we can maybe make a deal on them and go from there. Now, I did promise you guys in a couple of videos earlier that, hey, the car was going to go up today to Edmonton and we were going to tear it apart. Well, that's not happening clearly today, because it's now 5 o'clock. It's starting to get cold out here. And I just deduced that, you know what, right now, it's just not going to happen. And I wasn't going to be able to turn around in one day and drive back, like towing this thing up and stuff like that. So what I am going to do, though, is when I can afford it, again, it's going to take a bit, although I should have some money coming in here soon because of something I did, and I'll talk about that later, is replace the rad, like I said, with an aluminum replacement, but one with aluminum sides as well, not the plastic. I'm not a fan of those whatsoever, because it's just more prone to issues. If you have the aluminum sides that are welded in, they're fantastic, right? Like I have, they unfortunately don't sell them anymore in Rock Auto. The 2 1/4 inch Lilling Global 3-core aluminum rats, they don't sell them anymore. They sell the 0.6 of an inch, which is what my inline 6 had stock, aluminum Lilling Global with the aluminum sides, but that's not going to be enough for this car. A 0.6 inch rad, it's not. So if it wasn't enough for Stitch, like, I mean, it worked, but it wasn't amazing. It's not going to work for this. So I'm looking into options, maybe an SVE, or a Be Cool, something like that. In the future, when I have more money, just dumping into this. People are saying, like, I've had a couple people suggest, well, why don't you just go to like a rad shop or something like that? Well, the thing is, for me to go to a rad shop to, you know, see about getting this thing cleaned up, potentially record, whatever else, is gonna cost me about $150 anyways, because also I gotta travel. There's nothing here in town. I'd have to go out to Olds for that, maybe, and even then, I don't think they have a rad shop. I'd have to go to like Calgary or Red Deer for the closest. So at that point, I'm going to be spending close to $200 anyways. So why not just upgrade the rad instead? So that's what I am going to be doing on this. And I did that upgrade to Stitch, and I love it. Absolutely love that rad. It's amazing. And this with an actual fan shroud on it will be even better too, because Stitch doesn't have a fan shroud. Which I'd have to get a different style mechanical fan for it if I was to do like a fan shroud like that. Create my own that doesn't have a bottom on it, but that doesn't really work that well. Or I can swap it to electric fans, which I'll probably end up doing on both of these cars in the future, but for now, they're going to stay with mechanical fans because they work, right? And so yeah, like in this thing, it does run, but there's no coolant in it because, of course, lower rad hose blew out on me. I took it around the block and it was fine, but as soon as I went, like literally, it's just went around the block here, down the road, turned, went back down the road there to a stop sign, may have driven a grand total of like 800 meters, and well, lower rad hose blew off. I was gonna go downtown with the car just to test to see if it would overheat. So that leads me to believe, like, 99% sure it's this rad, right? And because of what I mentioned earlier of, you know, it overheating, hoses not getting hot, stuff like that, and I've replaced everything else. It has a new thermostat in it, which it had a new thermostat when I got the car, and I even replaced that thermostat with this one, and the water pump's new. And it's the correct reverse rotation or counterclockwise that the serpentine setups need, right? So we're fine there. So yeah, next up is the rad. Now, if that doesn't fix it, then we'll take the entire top of the motor apart. You know, the heads and stuff like that. There's still stuff I want to do anyways that would require some of that to be done. Like, I want to redo these intake gaskets because I'm not a fan of how they stick out like they do. And as well, I want to replace the distributor because I have that HEI in the trunk. I want to put my BBK headers on here, which will only work with these heads. If they won't work with the GT40 heads, I'm not sure exactly why. That's what I was told anyways. So that they're designed for these heads, which these are either E5 or E7 heads. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is between the two or what the designation is on them, but I know they're either E5s or E7s. The GT40s is the ones that everybody goes for. They're a much higher performing head. I mean, like, yeah, putting those heads on this will make a big difference. It'll probably add like 20 horsepower. But I don't know, we'll see. Like, and again, I have a friend that has a couple of sets of those heads, and I do have new head gaskets now just sitting there, waiting for something, right? So, yeah. So that's basically where I'm at with the car here. And as well, you might notice there's a new battery in it. The battery that was in this was the original one from Stitch. Now, the thing is, that battery I had bought March 19th, 2019. And unfortunately, it was just done. Luckily, I kept the receipt because I was able to get warranty on it. I still had to pay an extra $88 because it wasn't a full replacement sort of warranty. It was, you know, a couple extra dollars warranty. It's still like under half of what that would cost. So, you know, it's worth it. It's 560 cold cranking amps, I think it was, and 540, sorry. And so that would work just fine, right? For this little thing. And the thing is, and with batteries too, if you're looking into batteries, especially if you're driving them around, you know, year-round like I do, these cars, is you want the best cold cranking amps will actually make the biggest difference. People will think, oh, you just need a large battery. That is a myth, and that's not a thing. The cold cranking amps on your battery is what makes it kind of like that better sort of battery. Like, you know, in Stitch, for example, it has an 800 cold cranking amp Optima, right? The thing never dies. Ever when it's cold, you don't have to plug the car in, the battery never dies. But that's also an AGM battery too, which is a little better. For now, I'm sticking with the Optima, or the Napa in here. It'll work just fine. They're a pretty decent battery. They're a lot of acid, but it's fine. And yeah, so that's basically where I'm at with this car. So she's gonna sit for a while, and I'm totally fine with that, you know, because there's not really much else I can do at the moment on the car. Like, yes, can I put the phenolic spacer on it? Could I put the headers on it technically? Yes, I could. But for now, I'm not going to, because yes, I also have a 1-inch phenolic spacer for the carburetor. It raises it up a little bit so that I can put an air cleaner on it, because it hits actually both front and back, hits the distributor wires and there's a vacuum line out back too that it hits. So, which I will eventually end up redoing that vacuum line, I'm sure, but for now, you know, just do that. It'll gain performance at the same time, so that's a win. It'll help with tuning as well, because this thing, frick. I don't know what this is jetted to, which I know you can replace the jets on these, if I remember correctly, without taking the carb off, so which is kind of nice. Like on Stitch, has the Motorcraft 2100 carburetor. You have to take the top off the carburetor. With this, there's just 4 bolts on the front, or yeah, 4 on the back. Take those out, your jets are right there. Perfect. This might need to be rejetted. Also, the float setting, I don't know what it's set to because I haven't taken this thing apart yet and figured that out, but it runs obscenely rich. So, but the car does run, and that's all good. So I'm very excited for that, and yeah. So yeah, like the head gaskets are not blown. It's kind of nice, actually. I'm very thankful of that, because yeah, it's one of those things I didn't want to deal with, right? I've got the head gaskets and stuff like that. It's not that hard, but trying to do it here, like I mentioned, weather can hit at any time. Like the other day, this car had that much snow on it. That was yesterday. Today, it's all melted. But at any moment, that could happen again, right? And this is going to take a few hours. It's one thing for the minor stuff that I do here where, okay, it can sit, no big deal. Especially if it's snowing or something like that, this can easily get contaminated inside the motor and screw things up for you. So you don't want that, right? You want to be, like, you can do this outside, absolutely. But If this was summer, oh, I'd just dig into it and just rip the whole thing apart. Easier that way. But yeah, like I still want to do the head gaskets, but I might wait on that and see maybe about getting some new heads, like I mentioned. So yeah, but anyways, I'll end the video here. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please like the video, comment anything you want to see down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as well, if you want to contact me, you can at Katarina's.garage on Instagram or Katarina's Garage on Facebook. And I want to say something, and there will be a video as a celebration for the 1,500 subscribers soon, hopefully. Because, well, hit 1,500 subscribers the other day. We're actually at, I think, 1,524 or something like that, which is absolutely incredible. I never thought I'd get here, especially this quickly. So I really want to thank every single one of you that have subscribed to the channel, that have commented, that have liked the videos, that have shared my channel anywhere. You know what? You guys have made my dream possible of doing this. More, at least, you know. Of like, don't get me wrong, I was doing it before without making money and stuff like that, but making money at it as well helps as well. So, yeah, because I don't have a lot of money, so it helps. But anyways, thank you all so much for everything you guys do. Hope you guys are staying safe during COVID-19. Good luck with whatever you're working on, and as well, I will catch you in the next video. Bye! Pikachu!